All right, man. This is my personal reason why I think games should die. I was reading some of these posts from Reddit. Guys saying, "Is multiplayer gaming dead?" I don't think it's dead. I do see like a free fall on mostly on first-person shooters to a certain degree, not Call of Duty and Battlefield, but other first-person shooters that were coming and being released, and then I guess after like 6 months, people just move on to something else and then something else. Because it's just a saturation of games. That's partially mainly the reason why a lot of these multiplayer games are kind of dying. Because they're just moving on from the new game. Like I feel like the first person shooter multiplayer gamer is a person that probably has the most saturated games in the library because they're just going from one game to another to another. So they're leaving the game that we're playing when it came out on launch. 3 to 6 months later, after they get real good, they get tired and they just move on to a new thing. And they get really good after that, and then they just get tired and they move on to a new thing. And that's one aspect as to why some of these multiplayer games, mainly first-person shooters, are dying. A lot of people are going into free games. I don't want to mention the games. Look them up, the ones that are free, easy to download. There's plenty of those. Those ones are always gonna have people, but like in moderation, not in saturation. And the thing I grew up playing multiplayer games in the 90s and the 2000s. Because in the 90s we had local multiplayer thanks to the Nintendo 64, then PlayStation came up with an adapter, but it was like only 2 players. But with the adapter, you could play four. Or then you could play more than 4 players if you actually could buy that adapter, which not that many people knew. But then the PS2 came along and the Xbox had multiplayer. That's when the multiplayer experience was free for console gaming. And for the better part, a lot of the times when people played multiplayer gaming, from what I've been noticing in 2023 and the 2000s, is that in the 2000s people would talk shit. Even if you were winning, you would even talk shit to the people that were losing. Now I don't see that. I don't see people talking trash when they're winning. They only talk trash when people are losing. I personally seen that change. I don't know if I'm the only one that has been that difference. But now it's like the actions speak louder than words. Like the people, what they do now is like you can't get a group to play online. And back then, since there wasn't that many people, there wasn't that many servers like Discord. I think Discord was the one that literally killed it. And there wasn't that many people. You clinged onto like a group, and you had a play group for years, and you stay with that particular play group. And I feel like this past 5, 6 years, ever since Discord started getting popular, and not just Discord, there's other platforms out there. I know Skype was one of them that kind of started it, but I didn't see it when Skype was thriving back in 2014 and 15. Anyways, I feel like Skype, and there's other, but Skype is mainly the main problematic with this, and the social media crap like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc., where people post their videos of humiliating other players, not necessarily humiliating them, but they put the like the players' names, and they tag them just to see how they suck, and that's how I feel like that's one way of people talking trash. Not necessarily like ah ha ha this, no, no, no. Just by you putting a person's name and putting it in the title, that's already being very, very toxic. Like I done it before personally, like I have not been very like happy about it. It's kind of immature, and I feel like the multiplayer aspect is mainly for like people that are like 14 to like 25. Yeah, once you're past 25 and you're still stuck playing multiplayer games, dude, you need to get out of your mom's basement. I'm sorry, there's something wrong with you. I know I might get bashed by saying this, but I feel like the first person shooter aspects in multiplayer games is like very, very, very toxic. And the single player games like God of War, there's other single player games that are starting to get really popular again with some titles, but then there's this single player games that are so amazing. And but guess what? They also have multiplayer, and that was the main reason why I hate a lot of these games because they're not necessarily dying the multiplayer games because some of these single player games also have the multiplayer aspect, and it kind of sucks because now you just don't want to just play single player. You want to try out the multiplayer, and then you're like, shit. Well, and then there's like a back forth thing. Like the multiplayer thing is, it's it's very, very, very toxic in that sense that people you get people in play groups like ever since the pandemic. I gotten into so many play groups, and I can tell you, I'm not gonna mention names here, but I only have one person in particular where I feel like that person was was like a real friend. Other people, I always felt like there was some. I'm not gonna say all of them, but I'd say 70-80% of the people out of all the 100% that I played in the past 3 years, I feel like there was some like that energy where like if you really, the more you associate with them, the more you socialize with them, the more they're gonna talk trash behind your back with other people, just like at work, man. And the more they'll try and get groups to actually start talking, like doing shit behind your back. And that wasn't a thing in the 2000s. Back in the 2000s, whenever you found people and you played, you tried to get their emails and you were excited to actually socialize because there wasn't that many options to actually have friendships and other people. Now with all these social medias and crap, I feel like maybe that's the reason why there's so much division in gaming because the social media plays a big aspect on that regard, and that there's so many people that whenever you have many people, you feel like whenever you do something bad to that person, you're like, who cares? He can be easily replaceable by another person. And back in the 2000s, that person that you played felt bad because if you did something wrong, that person wasn't be easy replaceable. Like if you had friendship, you knew like if you had a friendship in the 2000s, I bet you're at the end of the world, you will probably try and find ways to connect back with that people. Or you probably have been connected with that person for the past 15 years or more. And it's not the case now with multiplayer games. Like you make friendships a year now, a year later, you're no longer friends. You unfriended that person, or that person unfriended you. And I see that in real life as well. And I think social media has to play a lot with that crap. And it hurts like to see that multiplayer aspect, people doing this type of toxic behavior because adding people and just throwing them off and then just not having them in your inner circles. Because that's one thing as well. Having people in the multiplayer aspect and not inviting them or not being part of your group. Like I have Battle.net, I play Blizzard, I play Warcraft 3. I try and add as many people that I enjoy playing. I don't have like, I'm not gonna add this people. Or no. I try to add everyone. If nobody wants to enter, then that's not my beef. Nowadays, I see so many people were like, I don't really talk that much with that person. Or he's kind of weird or something. Just an excuse to not exclude specific people on your friend list. Like, if you're gonna add people on your friend list, then why even bother adding them if you're not gonna even be having them in your inner circle, your inner friends, and if you're gonna have them in your inner friends, are you gonna be talking trash behind his person back? Are you gonna do something very toxic and shady that's gonna um like this is more so the case now than in 2000s. The 2000s people would talk trash and people would say a lot of horrible things that if you say it now, like you could get in trouble. But that was the only difference things from the 2000s and 2023 is that people will talk more trash verbally. But you know what they say, man? Actions speak louder than words. And one of the things that I freaking hate in multiplayer games is that you want to try something out and enjoy it, and it had to be the freaking tryhards that fap to that specific game, and they don't move on to that game. I'm like, you want to just having a good experience? You want to unlock an achievement or trophy, or you just want to have a good experience? No, they ruined it because you want to play and you get killed in like and trust me, I'm not a bad player by any means. Like I've been playing the games for years, ever since I was small. I grew up playing online when it came out. back in the consoles eras, back in the early 2000s. I think 2002 or 3 is when it started online, or I think much earlier than that. And anyways, the thing is, all these things are changing, and I feel like we're living in a PC world where everything's political correct. And like, if everything's gonna be political correct, might as well do it with fucking multiplayer. Make the multiplayer dead because there's so much toxicity if people are gonna be PC everywhere. And trust me, I'm not a big fan of the PC, but if people are gonna be PC, might as well let the multiplayer gaming die. Here's some comments that I saw. You're just playing the wrong games. Rust, Valheim, Raft, Minecraft. That's a lot of survival. The survival games is very group oriented. You need to really trust the certain groups, and if you played a game like Rust or Minecraft where you spend like months building something, you're gonna have a dirtbag destroy it. It's gonna be permanently destroyed. Like yeah, you have to get the trust from those games. So going back to what I was saying a while ago, you need to have that specific play group, but it's very hard to get them now in 2023. A play group where you really trust, man. It takes longer than a year to really trust a person. You can't just meet him for the coming weeks or months like it used to back in the 2000s. And then multiplayer is more alive than ever. Kind of true, but not necessarily true. I'll tell you why. It's nowhere near as social as it used to be. That too, like now you see a lot of people playing and they don't even socialize and talk. Most of the games they play, there's no headset. Nobody's using their headsets anymore as they used to back in the 360 days, back in the PS3 days, and everybody would use headset. It would be like having fun using it. Um, what other stuff that I noticed as well? Like chatting as well. You don't see a lot of people chatting, and if they chat or socialize, it's basically just to actually rage back at you if they're losing. Or another one is if they don't like something, they'll express their opinion. But aside from that, everybody freaking stays quiet now in player game. It says, but the days of social lobbies between rounds in Epic games is dead for now at least. And that's kind of true. That's what I'm saying. There was some games, and I can't remember a game that came out that has two sequels. The first one they shut down the servers, and it was very popular. I think a game came out in 2017, 18. I think it's a game from Blizzard or Activision. I don't remember the name, but it was very popular, and it kind of died because everybody was playing the second one, and well, the servers for the first one died. I don't remember, but I feel like Valve has a lot to do with the multiplayer aspect of getting stronger in the 2000s, and the past 10 years it has getting even stronger because games like Counter-Strike, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress, the list goes on, man. Like everybody stays into those multiplayer games and they try as much to stay. And the thing is, multiplayer games has a lot of cons more than pros. A lot of pros in the sense that it can be very fun. You spend good times. There's good memories from spending time. But the cons is that it's very like unhealth. It's very unhealthy for your health. Like you start raging if you start losing. Your blood pressure increases. Start having heart issues. You can get diabetes from raging. Um, you can get a stroke. You tend to actually not go out because the game is very addicting when you're playing multiplayer. Because multiplayer aspect is very addicting. Sometimes you can get weight and gain weight, and a lot of the times, like you just want to be like the best. And in that sense, if you want to experience other great games, you don't experience those great games because you're stuck playing the same shitty multiplayer game year after year. And a lot of times, the best experiences that I had, it's not being like I had the funnest playing multiplayer games. Don't get me wrong, but fun does not necessarily mean best. Fun as in like, well, not fun. I take it back. Addicting. I had the most addicting moments in games playing multiplayer games. I had the funnest playing single player games. There you go. I had one when I had an experience where like, oh man, it's like when you hear a new song for the first time and you relate it to that year. Like I remember back in 2005, this song artist would play this. Same thing with video games. Like if you play a new game for the first time, You can relate to that year, that moment, that feeling. Like you don't feel that with the multiplayer game because you're constantly playing year after year, month after month. Like, man, I can go on for hours upon hours why multiplayer. I and honestly, if there's this, a lot of times the servers are not even free anymore. Everybody now wants to charge to play online or to play on freaking servers. And if it's not like if it's not free, it's only gonna be a limited time and only a matter of time before they shut down. And trust me, if you are so attached to that game, when they shut down the server, it's like if a family member has passed away or worse. You will feel dreaded inside. You will feel bad. I advise multiplayer gaming, don't take them seriously. I avoid them as much as you can. After the pandemic, I started avoiding playing them, and I wouldn't recommend anybody playing multiplayer games. Play co-op games. Co-op games can be they can be bad as well depending on your play group, but again, you gotta really find the right people, and it takes longer than a year now, man. It's not like in the 2000s where you met somebody in like the first few weeks, you're already attached to that person now. It takes more than a year to really attach to a play group because after a year, you know that person's gonna be reliable. Sometimes it takes longer than a year because some people just vanish or people do some shit like what I'm telling you. There's so many options now that are like, I'm not gonna play with this person or now this. It can be anything. So yeah. All right, man. This is one of the reasons I'm gonna put this Reddit post. I didn't post anything, but I was just reading the comments here. I know GTA 5 has a lot to do with multiplayer, so getting the community to play it. But yeah, what do you guys think? Would you prefer playing co-op, single player games, or play multiplayer games that has PvP aspect? Because I wouldn't recommend it, and I can go on hours talking about it. All right, take care, everybody.